Okay, I'm ready whenever you are.
Ready. Born ready. Are you recording?
Yes, I am. Okay, this lesson skips one lesson. Hang on here. Okay, editor, I'm skipping making a quick mask, which is lesson number 10, and going ahead to lesson number 11, which is lens correction. And I'll come back and do the other one tomorrow. So, lens correction. Photoshop has tools for fixing some optical characteristics caused by certain kinds of lenses. For example, a wide-angle lens typically causes a distortion in perspective. We can easily fix these things. Here's how. On this first image, we have a little bit of bowing to this structure, and that's caused by a wide-angle lens. This kind of distortion is typically referred to as barrel distortion, or some people call it pincushion distortion. Regardless of what you call it, we can fix it. It's under the filter menu, in distort, and it's called lens correction. That's filter, distort, lens correction. The lens correction opens up in its own box. You can see we've got a preview of the picture here, and it has its own set of tools as well. Now, for correcting this kind of a distortion, we're just going to go straight over here to the left-hand column, or I'm sorry, the right-hand column, and it shows little previews here of what kind of distortion we're going to remove. So that makes it really easy. We want less of that, so we'll move the pointer away from it until it looks good. That's looking good right about there. Now, in order to accomplish this, it has to kind of pull out these edges and do some adjustments to the overall dimensions of the image, but don't worry about that. We're really not losing anything here. Once we've got our adjustment made, we can make the image fill the image area by going down to the bottom here to scale. And most of the time you can just scale this up and it'll fit nicely and you don't have to do any cropping. In this case, it does fall a little bit short. So we'll go ahead and click OK. And then crop this image from here. Here's the cropping tool. Now, one thing you need to know about the cropping tool is that up here in the options bar you can type in a width and a height and a resolution as well. If you have a width and a height typed into these fields, it will not let you crop any other shape. So if you want to just simply crop this without worrying too much about the size, make sure there are no numbers in those fields. So I've clicked and dragged, and you can see we've got little handles on here to control the size. Once you get this lined up nicely, you press enter on your keyboard to apply it. And it looks like I missed a little spot here, but that's okay. Crop in a little bit more. Excellent. Now this looks a lot better. We've corrected that perspective distortion and made this image look as though it were shot with a regular lens. Now let's go on to another one. I have another image here which needs to be straightened. This is a pretty nice image, but it would have been nice if the camera was straight. We can easily fix this as well. It's in the same place. Filter, distort, lens correction. When we go to filter, distort, lens correction, it opens back up in this whole dialog box that we were just in. And the straighten tool is in the upper left. Here's the straighten tool right here, the second one down from the top. And the way this works couldn't be any easier. You simply click and drag a line on something that's supposed to be either horizontal or vertical, and when you let go of the mouse, it straightens it. Doesn't get any easier than that, now does it? So just click and drag. Easy. Now in this case, it did rotate the whole image, so we've got some areas here that we can enlarge out. Down at the bottom using that scale tool. All right, perfect. Now up at the top, I'll click OK, and it applied it to the image. That looks much, much better. There's another control in here that you may be interested in, and it's for a vignette. I'll bring back up this barrel distortion image, and once again, filter, distort, lens correction, and I'd like to show you the vignette. Now originally, the vignette was designed to correct a lens problem. You see, wide-angle lenses sometimes put dark edges around the image, so this was designed to take out the dark vignette caused by wide-angle lenses. But some people actually like it, so it allows you to add it back in if you want to. So watch. Here's the vignette, and the amount we can either lighten to take out dark edges, or we can deliberately darken it to kind of draw the eye more into the center of the image. Now this is really an artistic decision as to how you'd like to do it. I'm going to kind of overdo it here just so we can really see it. You can see these edges are really darkened. The midpoint controls how much of the middle stays light. So you can adjust that. And then finally click OK, and it adds the vignette. I think this adds kind of a nice touch myself, but that's for you to decide. Now finally, we've got one other kind of issue that's frequently caused by wide-angle lenses as well. And that's a perspective distortion. Now here we've got a picture of some architecture, and it's kind of askew because it wasn't shot straight on, and the lens is kind of causing a little bit of perspective. We can correct that. That's under Filter, Distort, Lens Correction. For this one, we're going down to the perspective, right down here. We'll start off with the vertical perspective, and you can see as I drag this, watch how we're getting that to line up with the grid that's shown. And that's looking a lot better. Now, for the horizontal perspective, we can further line this up. And it's going to take a little bit of effort to get this perfect. That's looking much better. But one thing I want to caution you about here is that don't get too obsessed with this grid, because things do have a little bit of perspective in real life. So if I were to line this up perfectly with the grid, it would kind of look fake and really flat. So just use your eye. The grid's there as a guide to help you, but you don't have to make it perfect. Well, this looks much better. Now down at the bottom, for the scale, I'll just scale this to get rid of the edges. Click OK, and you can see that looks a lot better. All these common issues that are caused by our digital cameras can be very easily corrected. These are things that in the past would have required a view camera and a lot of skill. Now we can do it in Photoshop very easily.